10 years pass like this, with you promising yourself that you'll change, that you'll do what you're required to do, that they are your dreams, yours, nobody made them for you, and you're gonna do what it takes. But it's been 10 years and you start to lose confidence because... Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Gloria, and today I'm going to discuss a book called The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. And this book is such an important book, especially if you're somebody who feels like your dreams and goals are not coming true, even though you've done everything possible. You do the affirmations, you've written your goals down, you take action, but somehow you can't get yourself to do these things consistently, and you end up giving up and failing. It's a vicious cycle. You keep trying to achieve your goals, trying to do what you want, trying to get what you desire, but then you're also the same person who'll sabotage yourself and you can't do what it is that you need to do. So picture this. You write down all your goals this year that you wanted, maybe perhaps at the beginning of the year like everyone else, and you said that this year is going to be different. You write down your goals, you make a vision board, you write affirmations, and then you take action for about 1 week. The next week you get busy and you say, okay, I'll catch up next week, but then you never do. Your gym membership is calling you, but you've never been there past the first week. You decide you want to study, but you study that first week and the next week you can't do it anymore. You're too busy, things come up, you're too tired, more and more reasons for you not to do what you decided to do. Next thing you know, it's the end of the year and you've not achieved any of your goals. You're stuck. And okay, you pat yourself in the back and say, okay, I'll do better next year. I will make sure this time to fix all my mistakes and get it done, get my goals completed so that I can move on and I can be like those people who are so happy when they reach their goals. Start again, motivated, you do what you need to do, you say affirmations, you take action, you go to the gym, you eat healthy, you read, you join a new course, you try and learn some new skills. For about a month, something comes up, you can't do it anymore, you say, okay, I'll catch up the next month. You never do. 10 years pass like this, with you promising yourself that you'll change, that you'll do what you're required to do, that they are your dreams, yours, nobody made them for you, and you're gonna do what it takes. But it's been 10 years and you start to lose confidence because you can't trust yourself anymore. You keep breaking the promises you make to yourself, and the more you do it, the more you can't trust yourself to push forward and do what you need to do. This phenomenon happens to so many people. You're not alone. And it's called self-sabotage. What is self-sabotage? Self-sabotage is when you yourself get in the way of your own dreams, goals, and desires. You do things that go contrary to what it is you want in the long run. The reason for this is because there are two conflicting desires. There's the conscious desire that you want to push forward and do what it is you need to do, and then there's the non-conscious desire that wants to keep you in that place. But why would you want to stay in a place that you don't want to be? Well, the truth is, self-sabotage is just a maladaptive coping mechanism. When you self-sabotage, you are trying to protect something. The self-sabotaging behavior is fulfilling a need that you have. Say, for example, you want to study, you want to do well in school, you want to get those straight A's, make your parents proud, be happy, and flex that you're intelligent, but then you don't go to class, you don't do your homework, you can't get yourself to do it. Every time you sit down to study, you start falling asleep, or you get distracted, or you go to whichever social media you can find. Why would you do this? Well, that behavior is fulfilling a need. Perhaps unconsciously you associate studying with something terrible. Maybe when you were younger, Your parents used to force you to study and make you sit down and study. So you made that unconscious relation between sitting down and studying and something bad, something that you're forced to do, something that you never want to do. And now that you have the freedom to choose whether to study or not, your non-conscious mind chooses not to study because you have made a bad association with it. Or, for example, you want to get fit, okay? You want to get in shape. And then you write down your plan, you get your gym membership, you write down your meal plans and everything, and you do it for a month, and then you can't do it anymore. You feel tired, you feel like you cannot continue with it, and then you just go back to your usual behaviors and ask yourself, why is it that other people are doing it and you can't? Same thing. You probably have something hidden inside you that is being fulfilled when you do that behavior. So, for example, perhaps deep down you're scared. You're scared that if you do change, if you do get in shape, if you do lose the weight, your family will make fun of you. People will make fun of you. They'll start staring at you and will bring unconscious attention to you. And perhaps you're a person who does not like to be seen. Whenever you sabotage that behavior, your non-conscious mind is trying to protect you. It's trying to fulfill a need that you have, to stay undercover, to not be vulnerable, to not have people staring at you, to not invite criticism, because you don't want that kind of thing. So the first point in this book is that we should deal with the core issue and not just surface issues, because a lot of this self-sabotage is because of something that is within us that we don't want to deal with, or we've never had the chance to deal with until we realize that we're carrying out this self-sabotaging behavior. And if we don't own up and take responsibility for our actions or for our lives, we might keep blaming others, blaming society, blaming the weather, blaming the government, blaming your parents, blaming your siblings, blaming your friends. And the thing is, the day, if you keep giving external forces the power, then it means you can't do anything about it, because you'll have to wait for those things to change, which is very hard and very unlikely for it to happen. But if you take responsibility and say, okay, what can I do differently? If I keep getting the same results no matter what happens, and I go to this place and I go to the next place, year after year after year, the results are the same, then there must be something I can do to change it. I'm the problem, not the circumstances, because it keeps repeating itself. So when you take responsibility and stop being in denial, you can take steps forward. You can decide that I'll do things differently. And you can also learn more about the issue and learn more about how you can tackle this problem. There's a quote in the book that states that the greatest act of self-love is to no longer accept a life you are unhappy with. It is to be able to state the problem plainly and in a straightforward manner. Being honest and authentic about what's going on in your life is such an underrated method of changing your life. Because if we keep lying to ourselves that we're okay and everything is fine and burying things, burying emotions, then you can never change it, because why change something that's not wrong? Why change something that's working? Okay, why change something that's not your fault? You couldn't do anything about it because it's not you, it's somebody else. And you can't change somebody else, right? So being honest and authentic about your feelings, about your situation, about what role you have played in that thing that you want, or in that thing that you want to change, can help us greatly to get out of this cycle of self-sabotage and to actually manifest our dreams and goals, as opposed to lying to ourselves and burying things and hoping that one day something will change. If you just keep saying the affirmations, if you just keep trying to take action, if you just keep doing the things that you've already been doing. Another point in the book is to disconnect actions from feelings. How many times do we not do something because we don't feel like it? Perhaps you decided to be more outgoing and hang out with your friends and family more often. But then one day you wake up and you don't feel like it. And then you don't, which is okay once in a while. But then you keep doing it. You keep not feeling like it. And then you forget about your goal of spending more time with family and friends. We as human beings crave comfort. We crave what's familiar. So that's why it's so difficult to change ourselves. Because we are so used to living the way we've been living for the past however many years that trying to do things differently alarms our unconscious mind, alarms ourselves, because it's not what we're used to. We're used to being comfortable. Being comfortable is safe. So if you don't push yourself outside your comfort zone, then you will never grow and you will never do it intentionally, because being comfortable is what we're used to. We crave what we repeatedly do. If you do something every single day for the however many years, if you don't do it, you will have that craving. It's part of the habit loop. Okay, so the way we change this is to slowly and surely introduce uncomfortable situation. Get used to being uncomfortable. If you do something today that you've never done before, for example, you start jogging, you jog for 2 minutes, and then the next day you don't do it, and then the next day you don't do it, it's never going to become a habit. It's never going to be something you're comfortable doing. But if you jog for those 2 minutes for 2 months, you'll start to get used to it, and your brain will start to recognize that this is something we do now, and you'll get comfortable with it. And then it's your job to push yourself further so that you can push the limit of your comfortability, so that slowly by slowly you can change. You can change the upper limit of what we're comfortable with to accommodate who we're trying to become and what we want to do with our lives. The last key point from this book is to use your triggers as guides. We all have emotions. God gave us emotions for a reason, and vilifying certain emotions is not the way to move forward. If you get angry, if you get sad, if you get happy, that's well and good. Acknowledging that you have feelings validates them, right? So if you find yourself getting triggered by something, perhaps somebody else got the job that you wanted, or somebody else got the A's that you wanted, or somebody else got the car that you wanted, and then you start to feel jealous feeling inside of you, you start to feel bad. Instead of vilifying yourself as like, how could I feel bad? I'm my own person. I have to do what I need to do. Instead of saying that, you could acknowledge that you feel jealous, perhaps because you want that thing. It's not that person's fault. You just want what they have, and which is not a bad thing. It has shown you have a certain desire to have something. Perhaps you want to have the kind of freedom that they have to buy whatever car they want, or perhaps you want to have the kind of commitment they have to their education, to have the grades they have. And that will show you, oh, I actually care about grades, I actually care about freedom, I actually care about finances, and I should do something to get where I need to go. So you can use the things that trigger you to inform you about what you care about, and the things that mean something to you, or the things that have affected you in some way, rather than thinking that they're bad, or you're bad, or they're bad, or another person is bad, or I shouldn't have these feelings, or trying to suppress them. You can instead use them as a signpost to show you where to go. So all in all, this book by Brianna Wiest is so good. It's packed full of information, gives you a solution from inside. Like, rather than trying to find a solution externally from doing different things, doing this, doing that, it takes you back inside, takes you back to you, to soul search, to try and figure out yourself and change inwards going out. So I highly recommend this book, and I've just talked about a few points, but it's such a good book. So yeah, so thank you for visiting my channel and watching my video. Like, subscribe, comment.